Thank you, Art. You all ought to give yourselves a round of applause for making the effort of being here today. You really ought to. This weather's no fun. And my friend Randy Fry, the last time we were here, he spoke before I did, and I think I had about two minutes left by the time it was all said and done. So I feel impressed today to give you a rendition of the Gettysburg Address and a stirring rendition of the Declaration of Independence. No, I'm not going to talk long. If you don't know who I am, I'm Don Bates Jr. I think a lot of you were here when I was here a couple months ago. I apologize. I changed vehicles yesterday for the campaign and left all my brochures in the other one, so I don't have one with me, and I'm really sorry for that. But I want to just share a few, and I'm not going to talk long, but I want to share a couple things with you that are, I think, pertinent right now, that are concerning me, and I hope are concerning you. We face a couple very great challenges in 2012. One of which is we have to make sure that Barack Obama is a one-term president.
Yeah.
We have to do that.
For sure.
Now, I know we're in the midst of a contested primary, and I'm probably with about 75% of you that's in the camp that's saying anybody but one of them. Maybe not the case, I don't know. But I'm there. I've watched the debates. I've listened. I've done my due diligence. I'm not perfectly satisfied with any of them. But reality is this, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a perfect world.
No.
And, you know, there was a little boy that was praying some time ago, and he said, Jesus, if you're not going to come back soon, would you at least send Ronald Reagan back? But unfortunately, that's not going to happen. And so what I want to go on the record and say today is this, and I know, and again, I know this is, I've got strong feelings about all the candidates, and if you wanted to hear my personal, private opinion, I would be happy to give it to you. And some of them share a lot more of my values and my convictions and my principles than others do. But I will say this, whoever the nominee is, I will walk through fire to help get him elected to ensure that Barack Obama is not re-inaugurated on January the 20th, 2013. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we can talk all morning about, well, you know, this one wouldn't be any better, and we can talk about all that stuff. But reality is this, and a lot of people are buying the nonsense that, you know, well, as long as we control the House, and if we take back the Senate, you know, we're going to be fine, and we can control him. You cannot control a president who is bypassing Congress to force his will on the American people.
Right. Exactly right.
You cannot handcuff a president who's appointing czars without the approval of Congress. And so the point I'm making is simply this. We as a nation cannot afford 4 more years of Barack Obama. And so if my guy doesn't win the nomination, I'm not going to sit at home on my hands. I'm not going to protest. I'm not going to have sour grapes and say, you know, well, we're getting what we deserve, 4 more years of Barack Obama. No, I care too much about this nation, and we cannot afford 4 more years of Barack Obama. Not just for my sake, but for the sake of my children, because he's doing exactly what he said he would do. He has fundamentally changed the United States of America, and I don't like the changes that he's bringing to America. So, I'm only saying that to say this. I hope you'll join me in when we get through this fight. And I was talking to my father. I was headed somewhere last night, and he called me. And he was all upset. You know, they're tearing each other apart, and they are. I mean, this primary is getting like most primaries do. But here's what I said to him. I said, Dad, I want you to remember something. 4 years ago, the Democrat primary ran clear into May. Anybody remember Operation Chaos?
Yeah.
Some of you might have participated. And Hillary and Obama were duking it out. You know, and I have to tell you, Hillary Clinton scared me to death. I just did not want to see her be the president. I can't believe that right now, the way I feel in my heart, I'd rather have Hillary than Barack Obama. But I said to my dad, that that primary was brutal. It was divided. I mean, they were talking about superdelegates. They were talking about a convention fight. People did not know how that was going to turn out. But when that primary ended, and Barack Obama won the primary, the Democrat Party coalesced around him, and they united, and they went on to victory. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have to do the same thing. So when we get through the fight, let's lock arms. Let's determine that we're going to be united and fight together to ensure that the future is just as bright for our children as it's been for us. And it will not be under an administration like the one we've had for the past 3 years. So let's do the very best we can to ensure that Barack Obama is a one-term president. That's challenge number one that we have to face. Number two, we have a big job in the 6th District. In my opinion, we've been blessed with one of the greatest congressmen in America. Mike Pence, and I'll just tell you, I begged him to run for president. And now I feel even more strongly that he would have had a really good chance. He's a great communicator. He's a man of conviction. He's a man of principle and integrity, and I begged him to do that. He's been a great congressman for us, and this is a big job. And it's a crowded primary field. And let me be clear, I have no intention whatsoever of throwing punches and slinging mud and speaking ill of my, I don't even like to call them opponents, I call them colleagues. If I'm not blessed to be the nominee, then you have my word, I will get behind the nominee. Now, I fully intend for us to win this primary. But I want you to think long and hard about what it is we're doing here. And I want you to look closely at the candidates and where they all stand, and I want you to think about where we are in America right now. And I want you to look at my record. You say, well, Don, you've never held public office. Well, go to my website and look at where I stand on issues. Look at what I said in the Senate primary when the election of Barack Obama kicked me out of my comfort zone and really forced me to get involved. I had no intention of ever getting involved in politics, but that election changed a lot for me, and my life has radically changed in the last 3 years. But I want you to take a close look at where we are as a nation and what kind of experience that we need right now in Washington, and ask yourself, who is the kind of person that we need to send to Washington to represent the 6th District? And I hope you will agree that we need someone who has lived and worked in this district virtually his entire life except for a little time away at college. And I hope you will agree that we need someone with a background in finance, because Washington has a lot of fiscal problems these days, do they not? And I believe we need to send someone to replace our good congressman who has a clear understanding of what it's going to take for us to get our fiscal house in order. But I still believe it has to be more than that. I can talk fiscal issues until I am blue in the face, because it's what I've done most of my professional career. But I also want to make sure that we send someone to represent us who at least shares with the same passion and the same conviction the principles that Mike Pence has stood for when it comes to social issues. And I know some would say, well, Don, it's the fiscal problems that we're facing that we've got to take care of. There's so much truth to that. But ladies and gentlemen, we cannot afford to neglect the fabric of our society that's made us a great nation. And what has made us a great nation is not that we've been a strong fiscal nation, because reality is this: we've never been very good at that. But what I personally believe with all of my heart is that if we neglect the issues of life, if we neglect the issue of liberty, if we neglect the issue of the importance of the home and the family, as Congressman Pence says, if you destroy that foundation, you don't have a government big enough to take care of the mess that we will have. Here, works here, has the right experience that we need right now in Washington, and shares the passion to not only lead the charge to get our fiscal house in order, but one who will not neglect what the 6th District stands for, when it comes to social conservative values that hopefully all of us hold so dearly. So I'm asking you, do your due diligence. It's already January. May the 8th is going to be here before we know it. But this race is heating up. And I would say one more thing. And again, I'm not throwing stones. But don't let a handful of power brokers in Indianapolis tell you who the nominee has to be. Don't listen to the pundits there. Don't listen to the cronies that said, you know, we drew the map because we wanted it to turn out this way. And I'll also say, don't be intimidated by the fact that Hamilton County money is trying to influence the 6th District. And look, this is a free country. I'm not criticizing that. I'm simply saying, when it is all said and done, the primary voters of the 6th District will determine who the nominee is going to be, not a handful of power brokers in Indianapolis. Would you do that for me? So I look forward to the months ahead, and now it's time for the Gettysburg Address and then the Declaration of Independence. No, I'm kidding. God bless you. Thank you for making the sacrifice to be here today, and thank you for standing by the stuff. You know, this is going to be a tough day for people like Randy Fry and Judd McMillan, because when we leave here, we're going to a couple town hall meetings, and you know the right to work bill is raging, and it takes a lot of courage for these men to stand the way they are. And I ask for you to remember them in your thoughts and prayers, and we're going to be together, I think, most of the day, standing with them as we tell our story of what we're trying to do to make Indiana and the United States of America a better place to live. So thank you, and God bless you. I see a hand back here. Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with the National Defense Authorization Act?
I am.
That was passed?
Yes, I am.
How would you vote on
I
that?
would have voted against it.
How did Mike Pence vote on that?
He voted against it. And you know, I talked to Congressman Pence, was in Richmond last week. What is today? Saturday. Tuesday. He was in Richmond, and I asked him about the bill, and you know, I think the biggest issue of the bill, and you really got to push Mike to the limit, Congressman Pence to the limit, for him to vote against our military. He really wasn't. But there were some matters of principle in that bill, especially as they relate to American citizens' rights, that were just simply wrong. I asked him if that was going to, if the provision in that bill that allows the Obama administration to detain an American citizen without the right of habeas corpus could withstand constitutional muster. And because I fully expected it to go to the Supreme Court, he said he doesn't think it's going to get that far. Leadership has promised him that when they come back, there's going to be revision language put in that bill that will fix that problem. Any other questions? All right, I think we're about done.